Hello, this is your host, Derek D. Hendy. Welcome to the Bullet Made Statues Sunday Funday podcast. No man is an island. Enjoy the show.
Hi there, welcome to Sunday Funday here with Bullet Made Statues. This is our first episode. We're very excited to announce it. Nice. So Sunday Funday is a way for us to connect to our local artists and everyone who's rad out here in Thousand Oaks. Give you a good old interview, get some jams recorded, and just kind of learn a little bit about yourself. And today we're gonna start with the fundamentals, the beginnings.
Sunday Funday.
The beginnings of what is Bullet Made Statues. And I think a very great place to begin would be with Wes Pagano. Today we have Wes Pagano in the studio, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. What was the first song you ever wrote?
Echoing Lime. Well, how do I put this? Well, it was actually a funny story because growing up, I was an ADD baby, and they thought giving me medication was the way to go. And at this point of my life, my best friend at the time told me he likes me better when I'm not taking the medication. So struggling with people saying it's better for you, with your best friend telling you I don't like the way you are, you kind of take your best friend's route. And one day I came back from lunch, and I had a science class. And the teacher's name was Mr. Heffernan. He went to Cal Poly. I came back from my lunch, and the first thing I remember, the class started moving on, and basically he said, "Hey Wes, did you forget to take your ADD medicine?" And I'm like, "What? Like, are you fucking kidding me?"
You, huh?
Well, and I called him an asshole.
In class?
Yeah.
In class?
Yeah. Well, fucking, yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, why would you say something like that? You know what I mean? So he sent me to the dean, the dean at the time was named Mr. Ponick. We called him Hydroponic. Just so easy. Just so easy. Yeah.
On a platter.
Long story short, I got suspended. And the day that I was getting suspended, my parents were leaving on a 2-week vacation to Hawaii. And I remember them packing. And, the other thing, you asked me a question earlier about songs. I definitely have to put Neil Diamond in there because Neil Diamond, Simon and Garfunkel, and Roy Orbison were was the music I was listening to.
Did you take your ADD medication?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tonight.
God, I wish I had ADD
medication.
medicine.
Talking about something else.
Yeah, that's exactly. Knock, knock. But there was the Echoing Lime was basically a song almost in a Neil Diamond genre. And at that time, I was a freshman in high school. My older brother was a senior in high school. And, he played on the football team and, oh, you're Joey's little brother. And, it was just so, and mind you, the band that I was in at the time, it was called Plastic Gallery. We were playing. Our first show was in '94, and this was the first time, I had a guitar and I could actually write a song, and Echoing Lime was that. And any party I would go to, any high school party, somehow there would be a guitar there, and everyone would say, "Echoing Lime, Echoing Lime." So Echoing Lime was definitely the...
So what's the song? What are the lyrics? What's it about?
Well, the lyrics didn't make sense, and I almost felt like it was it says, "I'll be home again, any way I can. Drop the stars, old boy, you're in real land." And it's kind of saying, get your focus on, obviously, clearly. And then... The chorus was, "How many times must I peel with my arms around her? Chained to an arrow, now it's flying. Your echo sounds like it's crying." So I guess it's more on a love song, Yeah.
That's awesome. You still remember it.
Well, fuck yeah. After singing it so many times for 1 year, I don't think you can forget it,
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're working our way up to Bullet Made Statues, but I guess tell us, what was this first band you're in? What's the story with those guys? How'd you guys start?
Plastic Gallery started, I want to say, back in '94. I had a friend named Darren Case, which I don't know whatever happened to him, but that guy was really badass and very smart. He used to hang out with this guy, Taylor. Darren didn't show up to school in middle school one particular day in the 7th grade, and when I was walking home, this guy took the same path home, but Darren wasn't there. Okay. So I was like, hey, you know my buddy Darren, maybe we can have a conversation and go from there. Ends up, he asked me to hold his trumpet case, and he ties the shoe, and I end up over at his house, and we just started playing. I mean, he had this three-string acoustic guitar, and he ended up playing a Stone Temple Pilots song, Interstate Love Song, and I sang right away, and it was like, fuck. Spent the night, and his mother did a lot of acting, so she would have Hollywood parties, and about a year later, after he had a drum set in his garage too. So I mean, it was a free for all in the 7th grade. I mean, we had a video camera and instruments. Yeah. So all we did was make music and then make music videos right after it. So that's all we did. And it was all the time. And we made rap videos, rock. I mean, all it was just two kids making a drum beat and making. I mean, it was awesome.
Where you learned your saucy dance moves?
I love my yeah. Yes, nice. Yes, it was.
That's where it all began.
Nice, Tristan. That was a curveball.
I did. Yeah, I did that.
Is that where you learned your saucy dances? Where you Wes shakes, Wes milkshakes.
So you're playing drums in the garage?
Yeah, make all these loud noises and, what we thought before we smoked pot, what psychedelic was to us until we eventually did smoke pot. And was in a different realm at that point. But long story short, that's what we did. Eventually a child actor, came over one time because his mother was friends with Taylor's mother. And he brought this fancy Les Paul and this Marshall cabinet, and here we are playing on junk and having like the best times. I mean, it's like the best things ever. Finding clothes in the garage and wearing like clothes, that just don't make sense, and everyone's looking at you like, why the hell are you wearing that? But this garage was just like our sanctuary. It was our big castle. This actor boy came in, and obviously, he was definitely turned off on us, and his shininess was definitely a turn off on us. Uh-huh. But somehow, Taylor's mom and the boy's mother kind of talked, but the boy was hoping that we weren't going to ask him to be a part of the band. Okay. And somehow, Taylor asked him to be part of the band. And he was like, oh, hell yeah, let's do this. So somehow, I remember that, Politics. So long story short, there was a really cool bass player that we knew, and we formed this foursome of just getting these songs down. And it took us literally about 12 to 13 drummers until we found our last drummer, and that was in about 99, 2000. And then from 2000 to 2007, that group, 94 was our first show from Plastic Gallery, but we changed our name in 2000 to Blue Root, and Blue Root had a good fun run. Yeah, good fun run.
I mean, tell us more about Blue Root. Talk about it for a little
Blue Root was actually a very good. I'll say I went to the College of Blue Root. Blue Root was a good educational learning stepping stone steps, backwards, forwards, backwards again. Of a lot of learning lessons to where I'm at now, and why I love playing with the band that I'm with, because I think everyone has their own band of university to learn lessons to, what we're trying to achieve at this point. Yeah. But Blue Root had a good time. We had really minor success, and when I success, it was goals that we didn't think could come true, and that came true, and that was always the thing with music, and I'll say in particularly me, was every time I would feel like a door would be closing, a door would be opening. Blue Root got to do a song for Anacondas, the movie, which was really fun to do. And
which the first time I saw that movie, I was actually in Canada, staying at a Motel 6, and it happened to be on late at night.
Nice.
And
you actually sat and watched that thing?
I didn't have a lot to do because I was in Canada.
You're like, that was probably the best thing to do.
And
no, I can't say that.
Between going out and basically dying in the cold winter or watching Anaconda, I saw Anaconda. No, seriously, at a Motel 6 up, I think it was near Toronto, and
I think
Yeah,
part of that movie
I'll tell you
could
what.
have been. No, I don't
when
think
that
so.
when that title song came on, I really thought it was something special,
Nice.
and then I forgot about it for about 12 years.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
Yeah, nice. Like, yeah. Nice.
Go
Nice.
on.
No, well, that was the thing. I mean, we got a great opportunity, and with that, with the money we had, instead of putting it in our pockets, we ended up looking at all the back of the CDs, and Ron St. Germain, who our band knows here, and obviously friends and girlfriends here. You know, we all know who Ron St. Germain is, and if you don't, Ron St. Germain has produced a lot of great bands, and he's done so much for our ears and our inspiration to do what we do now. Anyone playing music. But we sent him an email hoping that he would want to produce our song Chapow at the time. And he replied with a yes, and we were like, what the fuck? We were so excited, just, shitting ourselves. Here's a chance to meet someone that can maybe give us an opportunity to give us the next step of where we need to be. So we looked at some really nice studios in Hollywood, and I don't know if I'm saying this right. Is it A&M or A&M Studios or A&R Studios, or it might not be there anymore, but it's something. It was like some kind of famous studio of some sort. And Ron said, "Why are you even wasting your time? Come record over at the Hive, where the Hive is 311's studio." And those guys graciously were amazing to our band. Just absolutely amazing. And Jason and Giff, the guys who work there, and they are still working there, who both play music, they're absolutely awesome. They're angels from heaven, all of them. They just made the whole experience just amazing. And Ron and his technique on the first time, here I am working with a major producer where my band's been playing for a while, so the song really had a good direction, where we thought when Saint came in, it really opened our eyes to going, what the fuck? We have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea what we're doing. I mean, I can say that for myself. I mean, it made you go right back to feeling like you don't know anything, and that's the point. And I'm so happy he was in my path. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot. And after that, I think it really dawned on certain members of the band. That looks really good. It's all over your beard. And I hope everyone's... you can go ahead and turn to the camera and make sure everyone sees that. And that, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That's amazing. What was that, apple pie? Oh, can I get a piece of pie right up over there on the...
Oh, you can be this spot here.
Yeah.
It's really good pie. I ate most of it directly off the plate.
Dude, and off your beard. That's amazing. And I do have to tell you, for you guys,
that's me saving it.
You
for
guys
later.
listening to this, you guys need to know that the fact that you guys are growing out your beard really makes me very happy.
And I'll tell you what, come next March, that's gonna be real good. It's gonna be good.
You guys need to try this pie.
It's really good pie, man. I've saved some for later in my beard.
But anyways, to make a long story short, after getting the realization of
Never happened.
long story short,
To make a long story even longer.
how can this is an interview, so you want to know? I'm going to tell you, right? Don't make long story short.
Make it even longer, Wes.
Make it even longer.
We'll take it easy.
Well, you know what? You're interviewing a guy with major ADD, so it's either going to be fun or completely boring.
So far, it's on the fun side.
Well, thanks for judging.
Yeah, so I mean, let's transition then to Bullet Made Statues. I mean, obviously it's a band that we're all involved with now, but I think that before its current incarnation, it's actually had a pretty interesting history up until this current point in time. When was the first time that Bullet Made Statues was Bullet Made Statues, and how to get there?
Bullet Made Statues
And,
was the first time Bullet Made Statues last year.
So, 2011?
2011. I mean, there's been different runs of Bullet Made Statues, but again, the fruit didn't come off the tree and become a reality with the vision that I have right now until last year.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody that's, for the most part, I mean, everybody is we got our head strong.
I mean, I guess-
we're still in building transition mode. I mean, we're still a young band, but I've never played with anybody with their heart that feels the same way that I do. I mean,
But
never had that
I keep wanting to talk about history, and I think I want to refer back to, you said in Blue Root, it wasn't translating the type of music that you felt in your heart, and so you ended that band and floated for a while, and then came with Bullet Made Statues.
well,
What did you do?
I locked myself. When that ended, I met up with Joe Gasworth. Joe Gasworth does a lot. Is the best mastering engineer in the world. I don't know anybody else. There isn't anybody else.
True that.
And I'll just say it because he's my best friend and he's my family. I love him to death. I remember calling him and, just kind of chit-chatting back and forth and, just kind of explaining to him where I'm at. And, music really wasn't an avenue at this point. I guess I needed to take a break and a vacation because I didn't really know what to do at that point. And I started interning with him and just seeing how he works and how the mastering process works. And it was like he just pulled the veil backstage behind how the music business is. And it really, again, checked myself at the door. And it inspired me to start writing. So I started writing in my room and just making songs, left and right. And hopefully one day saying, maybe, I see myself playing on a stage and there's a band playing this, these songs can't stop coming out of me. And it was like having breakfast or lunch or dinner every day. I mean, it wouldn't stop. It was a pattern. And, as well as Joe's, interning at Joe's, that got really serious. And then, up to about last year, and that's, when I started meeting you guys. You were in a band called Native June, signed to Planet LA Records, and one of the guys working for Planet LA Records was my old bass player in Blue Root. And, again, haven't really spoke to him in years, and to see him, 5-6 years later, I mean, it was, really cool to see that he was active still in the music, but not taking a role in the, being a musician. And, now that I'm thinking back, I remember really getting heavy with writing music and realizing I would love to give this a go, but I don't know how it would start. And I remember calling him and him inviting me to a Beta Records show.
The irony is, that phone conversation that you guys had, I was actually sitting in the car with Ben at the time. We were driving, I can't remember why, but I was riding with him from one event to the next. I was sitting in the car with him, and I remember him saying on the phone, hey, your songwriting is getting good, and, blah, 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 we're going to do this, that, and the other. And he hangs up the phone, and like I said, we're driving. You know that strip of Sunset Boulevard that, goes by, UCLA or whatever? Mm-hmm. That's where we were. Like, oh, who's that? And he goes, oh, this is a buddy of mine. He's a singer-songwriter guy I know, and I'm started working with him. Of course, keep in mind, at that time, Ben was like Planet LA, and I was signed to that, so I was kind of like, well, who the fuck's this singer-songwriter? So we were with anyway. So I don't know when that was in relation to meeting this guy at Lava, but it was just kind of funny that when he invited you to that show, I was actually in the car when he actually.
That's awesome. Ben called me to play a show at the LA Art Walk, and with writing all the songs, I didn't always compose them with just the guitar and vocals. I tried to do other things and try to work around the rhythms, bass, drums, and really get into that. So to perform that kind of stuff, I just didn't have the gear to do it. I mean, I did. But I didn't have, amps and things like that, and didn't have the drum kit that I have now. So I called him and I said, man, I can't do it. I don't have any material, which is complete bullshit. I mean, it was complete stage fright, and I, didn't think hard. I mean, I thought maybe 2 seconds, got scared and said no. Called him back and said, before I called him back, I said, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Call him.
Always
say yes.
Always play the show.
So I did. And he had me in this, main entrance where a bunch of people just kept coming in. And we're both there that night. You're playing upstairs in the ballroom, playing piano.
Yeah.
And I remembered you from the previous, time I saw you at Beta Records,
Yeah.
and Ben knew that we hung out, and he goes, yeah, well, Tristan's playing piano upstairs. And in my head, I've always wanted to play with a piano player. Always wanted to play with a piano player. Always, 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 always. And we go upstairs in the ballroom, this beautiful ballroom. And it was really nice there. It was
ballet
awesome.
dancers and everything.
Yeah. And when I got upstairs, there was actually this guy, just the soulful guy, man, just hitting your keys, man. Old cat.
Yeah.
And he gets off, and you start ripping it, dude. You just start. You played the right song for that room, and you knew that room was gonna hold this song.
It was big. I knew it had a good reverb, so you could make it ring.
Yeah. And you stopped, and you're like, all right, play a song. I was like, what? And you're like, yeah, play a song, man. I'll play a song, you play a song, back and forth. And I was like, oh, man, So I'm like, okay. So I start playing the songs that I was playing downstairs. And I left, and I felt so good. I felt on top of the world. I played again. I played in front of people. It was awesome. It was awesome. And got the jitters off. But, I mean, definitely warm pants that you haven't fit into in a long time. So you realize you have a lot to do to get back into those pants. And the next day, every Tuesday, our friend Ryan throws a thing out here in Thousand Oaks, on Thousand Oaks Boulevard at Lava Lounge called The Shakedown. And he gets all the local musicians involved to do free jams, open mic night, things like that. I decided, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this. And it was the next night after the night we did the LA Art Walk. And
The next night.
I
didn't actually realize it was the.
Or maybe it was the next week. Maybe it was the next week or next night. I'm pretty sure it was the next night, because my point is I had the confidence to go out and do it.
Interesting.
And, when I went out there, I came with an acoustic Fender guitar where I have to put the capo on the first fret, because the actual nut, the white thing that holds the strings, got popped out a long time ago. So we were
explain what that means. So basically, if you're playing the 5th fret, that actually means you're playing the 6th.
No. If the first fret is basically open tuning. So
Okay.
the second would be 1, third would be 2.
So anyone looking at you playing is not going to get it.
Because
they're going to see you playing, say, 5th, 3rd, and you're supposed to be +1.
Yes, exactly. So here I am, I play my first song, and it was like, oh my God, it just felt good, and everybody was really liking it. Well, I don't know how to take it, but they started coming up on stage and start playing with this next song. They were just going up to jam with me, and they're looking at my guitar and how I'm playing it, and they're not, like you said earlier, they're not playing what I'm playing on the guitar, because they don't realize my guitar's broken. And
so everything's half a step up and sounds like
it doesn't even sound like a song. Well,
sounds like musical death.
Yeah, and I am just still trying to be a performer, pretend oh shit. But the songs went to hell. But as these songs were happening, Mike, who I've known for a long time through Blue Root, and he was there, and he kept saying, "No, get off the stage." Not to me. I mean, I hope not. I mean, I know he wasn't, but he was telling the other guys to get off because he wanted to hear me play.
Mm-hmm.
And bring it down. He said, "Man, we got to start playing. We have to start playing." So he did. He literally called me the next day or the day after, and we talked it out. And he would come over, once a week, and we'd literally just start playing songs over and over and over and over again. And I think we got up to like 7 songs.
And this is roughly November 2011.
Yeah.
Okay.
And October-ish, November-ish.
2011. Yeah.
And boom, we felt like we had something to work with.
Yeah.
So now we need to find a guitar player besides me, lead guitar player, bass player, and a keyboard player.
Yeah.
And Mike obviously is probably thinking about the people in his head. The only people that really struck me was obviously you and Sean, who played in other versions of Bullet Made Statues. And I knew if I were to get all of us in a room,
Yeah.
you know, like, you know, obviously Mike, you know, some shit could happen.
Yeah.
And I remember
Mike just walked in right at the end of hearing how Mike got into Bullet Maid
how Mike got there. But,
By holding a video camera very slow.
Exactly.
but I remember when Sean Mathis, Mike Brown, and myself, we got in this room, and I got into this room, and we jammed it out. And even though, I mean, Mike and I had these songs going, and we actually pulled Sean in, I think, just before you and Dave. I think Sean was working with Mike and I for a good month. And then we were like, okay, let's get this guitar player and this keyboard player in. And then you and Dave came in that same day to come and play, which was awesome. So,
which is supposed to be a 2-hour band practice. I mean, I'll get into it from my perspective later on, but ended up being 7.
which is awesome. I mean, we all had big smiles on our faces, and we knew
something magical was happening.
we could make a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So,
Describe what you mean by right painting, because I think you see music in a very interesting way. And
I see music in colors.
Yeah.
Talk
about that.
I present, and when I hear music, or not necessarily when I hear music, it's more of like a gray pattern. When I write music and I'm performing music, it's patterns, colors. It's a canvas that clearly is moving. It's like a moving kaleidoscope, very calm at times and very rapid at times. And when I say that, there's shading, there's patterns, there's blocks, there's shapes, and there's zigzags. And
I mean, so does that mean, like, do bass tones have a tendency of having the same sort of effect as treble, or does certain instruments have the same effect, or is it different every song? Like, how does it?
In some ways, it can act as a certain character in the music.
Okay.
This is someone. This is something, which it could have been the old Peter and the Wolf style of.
Yeah, which I had to tape up. I mean, it's classic. Yeah.
But it really, it was definitely something to. If we're getting all this together, it's got to blend. We all know, and if you don't know, I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Probably one of the best damn creations ever created in this planet. Period. Maybe not to all of you, but to me, if something so beautiful can mesh so well and be so awesome,
It's peanut butter and jelly.
it is what it is. But that is for songs too as well. And if things can blend together, I love melody. I love harmony. I love mixing sounds together and painting that picture. I can't get past that. And whatever it is, again, any emotion you want to bring to it, everything has its painting, its color or vein or anything else, pictures but these songs were collectively all these songs that I've written, and I have a lot, man. I have close to 200 songs that I would just write and do nothing with them.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I'm like, you know what, maybe if I start going back and taking some of these songs and giving it to this band, these guys can really take this song from here to here.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious to hear where the weather came from, and specifically the weather because it's it's going to be a recurring theme through the next 4 EPs that we put out. So, what's the weather? Why the weather?
I'm a summer guy. Everyone has their own month, season, that kind of makes them feel comfortable. If you take any given week, when you wake up on Sunday and you walk outside, you know it's Sunday. Even if you didn't have a calendar to let you know that it's Sunday, everyone knows what a Sunday looks like compared to the rest of the day, if that makes sense. But the weather is something that has always, to me, brought me back to my past with nostalgia. And I don't know if that's part of a good thing or a bad thing, but I have a lot of nostalgia, and obviously I have fucking My Pet Monster right here. certain things in my life that just kind of bring happiness or sorrow or memories. And that to me is the weather. And the weather is a human's picture book to their mind where they can literally see and remember and know any kind of feeling that they had at this certain time or this and this and this, all due to the weather. And I think in certain areas, and I'm talking California, I'm born and raised in California, and when we get that little rain, it can actually make you feel a certain way. If obviously if you're living in Seattle or something like that, where you're getting all this rain all the time, and that one little incy bits of sunlight can make you feel that way. And that's the weather. I mean, it controls the way we feel, we breathe, and we think, and how we act in our daily lives. And bringing that into a love song, to have someone share that same kind of connection on a inner level would be amazing.
I'm curious to know, Bullet Made Statues, the sound of what is Bullet Made Statues has developed up until this point. Where do you think the sound, what possible directions do you think it might go musically from now?
I think it started, and where it is completely organic. And this is exactly the way any of your bands, Mike bands, or John's or Sean's or Paul's and Mitch's and Creech's and Flulocks and D-Locks, whoever's in the band, whoever has ever inspired us, that's this. It's the same exact way. Pink Floyd, anybody else, we are starting that band organic sound, and eventually it's the way we are. We're going to, give us 4 years under our belt, see us in 6 years from now, 7 years from now.
Who knows?
That's what I'm saying.
Who knows?
Because we left an open world.
Yeah.
We didn't say this is the only style we're going to play, because we don't agree with that.
Yeah.
We love music for what music is,
Yeah.
and if we want to do it, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it and have a good time doing it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
There is no label to our sound. I don't want to label our sound. If you want to, go for it, because I want to fake you at that point. Go, oh no, and go and just dunk it right behind you. We're in a new world. We're in a very new world where we can get ADD. We can have this song to this song over here to this song over there. I mean, that's the world that has come up, and it's kind of too fast, too quick for me. But it's something we could all use for our advantage.
Well, Wes Pagano,
Tristan Hendy.
thanks for coming out. Thanks for Sunday Funday.
Dude, this has been
Appreciate
awesome.
it.
Pretty
It's been
cool.
rad.
Sunday Funday. Now, I know this is just the very, very beginning,
This is
but
the first Sunday Funday. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to have a hell of a lot more. And, rock and roll. See you next week.
there's a place in France. I'm not going to sing the rest. You can do the rest. Where the naked ladies dance. There's a hole in the wall.
Where the men can see them all.
The men, yeah.
Hope you've enjoyed the show, and remember, no man is an island. Please tune in next week, same time, same place, same station. For music and tour dates, visit bulletmadestatues.com. Bye!